going to be solving problems on the back of 3C and 3D and 3E. You're going to solve problems where you have equations, but we have fractions here. Right, so it wouldn't have been bad if we had fractions. However, they have different denominators. So what do you do? Well, there's actually a way to get rid of the fraction in order to solve for the unknown. So by using the LCM. So the LCM between 4, 2, and 10. So I like to start with the larger number. So 10. Does 4 and 2 go into 10? No. Let's think of another number. So 10 times 2 is 20. Does 4 and 2 go into 20? Yes. So that is the LCM. So each part, that means each part, I'm going to multiply it to 20. Now, if you remember how to do multiplying a whole number to a fraction, this is like saying 20 over 1 times 3/4, so I would do top times top. So 20 times 3 is 60, and then 60 divided by 4 is 15. Another way you could do this, you could do 20, that I like doing because I think it's pretty cool. If you do 20 divided by 4, that's 5, and then 5 times 3 is 15a. So whatever way works for you, we're just going to do the way that. Remember, so 20 times 1 is 20, 20 divided by 2 is 10. 20 times 7 is 140, 140 divided by 10 is 14. Look at that, fraction is gone. Now I can solve for my letter. So first, get rid of any addition or subtraction. That's what you do first. So I want to get the a alone. That's my goal. So first, I get rid of what's hanging away from the letter. So I'm going to do minus 10 on both sides. What I do to one side, I do to the other. That's gone. I get 15a equals 14 minus 10, which is 4. Now, I want to get the a. I still need to get the a alone, so I need to get the 15 away from it. 15 is being multiplied by a, so I do the opposite, which is division. What you do to one side, you do to the other. And I get a equals 4 over 15. You don't need to change it to a decimal or anything. You can keep it as a fraction as long as it's reduced. So 4 over 15 is our answer. Alright, so that's the example they gave on the back of 3C. So I'm going to go ahead and go over 17, 18, 19, and 20. So just follow along. So number 17, we have 1/2 plus 2/3 equals 1/4 x. So first I have to determine what's the smallest number 2, 3, and 4 go into. So a little trick, I would go straight to the bigger number. So let's see. 2 goes into 4, but 3 doesn't. So let's go to another multiple of 4. 8. 4 times 2 is 8. 2 goes into 8, 3 doesn't. 4 times 3 is 12. 2 goes into 12, 3 goes into 12. So the LCM is 12. So I'm going to multiply each part by the LCM. Again, you could take this number and divide, then multiply, or you could just multiply the tops and then divide, whatever works for you. All right, 12 divided by 2 is 6. 6 times 1 is 6. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. All right, let's look at what we have to do. We can add here. 6 plus 8, 14. All right, I want to get the x alone. So to get the 3 is being multiplied to x. Opposite of multiplication is division. X equals 14 over 3. In algebra, it is okay to leave an answer as an improper fraction. You don't need to change it to a mixed number. All right, number 18. We have 3/5 x plus 3/4 equals 1 and 1/2. Now, before I do anything, I am going to change this. Now, mixed numbers, they're not helpful if everything else is not mixed numbers, so I'm going to change this into an improper fraction. So let's see here. We multiply one time. You multiply the whole number to the bottom, and then you add the top to get the top. So the bottom stays the same. So I keep the 2. I do 1 times 2 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. That's how I change this mixed number into an improper fraction. And I just bring everything else down. Alright, so all my denominators are different, so I need to figure out what's the LCM between all the numbers. So LCM between 5, 4, and 2. So my biggest number here is 5. Let's go to the multiples of 5. That's nice and easy. 5, 10, 15, 20, 4, 2, and 5 go into 20. Now we're going to multiply all of them by 20. Again, I like doing top divided by bottom times top, or you can just do top divided by bottom, whatever works for you. 20 divided by 5 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12x. 20 divided by 4 is 5. 5 times 3 is 15. 20 divided by 2 is 10. 10 times 3 is 30. All right, let us solve for x. So anything away from, so if you go to the side of the equal sign where the x is, anything away from it, let's do the opposite of addition is subtraction, which you do to one side, do to the other. So then we get 12x equals 15. We need to get that x alone. It's being multiplied to 12, so we do the opposite, which is division. And that is it. There is my answer, 15 over 12. You can just leave it that way. You do not need to change it into a mixed number. All right, let's go ahead and do the next question. Number 19. We have 1/9 x plus 2/3 equals 1/5. So what is my LCM? So I have 9, 3, and 5. I have 9, 3, and 5. So the biggest number here is 9. So let's go over the multiples of 9. 9, 18, 9 times 3 is 27, 9 times 4 is 36, 9 times 5 is 45. 3, it's good to know that 3 does go into 45. So you're going to multiply each one by 45. I know 3 times 15 is not a common one to know, but it is a good one to know that 3 goes into 45. So try to memorize some of these so it helps you get quicker at what is the LCM. All right, 45 divided by 9 is 5. 5 times 1 is 5x. Again, you can just 145 times 1 is 45. 45 divided by 9 is 5. Same idea, but again, I just like to divide and multiply because I can. 45 divided by 3 is 15. And then 15 times 2 is 30. 45 divided by 5 is 9. 9 times 1 is 9. All right, we want to get x alone. Let's solve. All right, what's hanging away from the x is the plus 13, so we're going to do the opposite, which is minus 30. Did I say plus 13? I meant plus 30. All right, 5x equals 9 minus 30. That is negative 21. Now, how do I get x alone? 5 is being multiplied to the x. To get the 5 away from the x, you do the opposite, which is division. And it's done. X equals negative 21 over 5. All right, last one. This time we're subtracting fractions with different denominators, and we are still solving for x. All right, we're going to figure out the LCM between 8, 5, and 4. All right, again, we start with the largest number so we can get to so we don't have to go through a long list of numbers. So let's see, multiples of 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 5 is 40. Boom. 40. 4 and 5 and 8 go into 40. Smallest number they all go into. All right, there we go. 40. Multiply each one by the LCM. So 40, 40. All right, again, you know how I like to do it. So here we go. 40 divided by 8 is 5. 5 times 3 is 15. 40 divided by 5 is 8. 8 times 1 is 8. So we have 8x. Forget about that x. 40 divided by 4 is 10. 10 times 3 is 30. Alright, so we want to get the x alone, but what's hanging away is a positive 15. So I'm going to do the opposite. Careful whenever the numbers come first. I know that's a little weird. So you do to one side, do to the other. Then we get negative 8x equals 30 minus 15, which is 15. Alright, we want to get the x alone. It's attached to negative 8 by multiplication. When they're next to each other, opposite multiplication is division. So we divide by negative 8. Make sure to include that sign. And that cancels. We get x equals 15 over negative 8 or negative 15 over 8. When you have one negative in a fraction, it makes it a negative fraction. Alright, this is how you solve problems where you want to solve for the unknown, where you have fractions with different denominators. Just multiply by the least common multiple to get rid of the fraction, and just solve like you usually do for a two-step for any equation.